What's going on, guys? Gavin here, and today I just wanted to react to some news broken down by Brett McMurphy of Action Network. He wrote an article earlier, and it mainly discussed the $7 billion deal for the Big Ten media rights with NBC, CBS, and Fox, and obviously ESPN is no longer going to be covering the Big Ten in the foreseeable future. But yeah, that wasn't the part that hit home with me. The part that hit home with me is just the article of talking how the Big Ten is not done with expanding yet. It's still open for business, and that's the part that is kind of crazy to me, and how they laid out the rights and whatnot. It sounds like they've left room to expand too in their media rights deal. And so it sounds like it's even made so that they do expand. And I thought this was intriguing, as it doesn't sound like the Big Ten is done yet. And that's kind of scary for the Pac-12, is what I'm initially thinking, because, well, obviously the Pac-12 is the one that's on the brink of death. If the Big Ten poaches Oregon and Washington, and reportedly they're looking at Cal and Stanford, the Pac-10, I guess now, is dead, and they're trying to get Notre Dame, but it's sounding like Notre Dame, at least from the reports over the summer, is trying to delay this, and it sounds like we might not even get any word on Notre Dame for another year with this media rights stuff going on. And so, yeah, but the Big Ten could be looking at Stanford, Cal, Washington, and Oregon. That is insane to me, that they are poaching the Pac-12. The Big Ten is poaching the Pac-12 and possibly other markets. It sounds like, there's been rumors milling around about TCU being added in, and I was able to listen in on an interview today with Stats of War, who is big on TCU football, and it doesn't sound like it is going anywhere yet, but I mean, if TCU could be added in, like these rumors are indicating, then that could really shake things up. Though it sounds like the TCU thing is kind of over bloated right now, so it may be safe to say that TCU is probably not going to be poached yet, at least. And so, but it is crazy that the Big Ten is not done yet, and that just leads you to question, who are they targeting next? Like, it looks like the Big Ten is the one that really wants to become the super conference of college football, that wants to become the dominant, uncontested, number one conference. And therefore, they're going to just try to keep poaching schools. And there are still some quality schools that they can get. Like I said, Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal. They add that California market, and then Oregon and Washington are national brands. And that could lead, if they get poached, the Big 12 can swoop in and steal the four corner schools, and the Pac-10 is dead. The Pac-12 is officially gone, as Washington and Washington State, Oregon State, and others. Really, it's actually going to be just like really Washington State and Oregon State left to flounder, as they need a new home. And so it's just crazy that this is what's been developing, and it's just a matter of time before we find out who are going to be the remaining schools that the Big Ten is going to be targeting, because it shouldn't be too hard for the Big Ten to lure out Washington and Oregon. And this is coming as a Pac-12 fan. I mean, the Big Ten makes figures upon figure, so much more millions than the Pac-12. I can't give exact numbers, but I know it's in the hundreds of millions, the difference between the Pac-12 and the Big Ten. And so they will come in after Oregon and Washington. I'm expecting it, and really it's crazy to me. As a Pac-12 fan, I've loved watching this conference. I know it's regarded as a trash conference by most fans, but I mean, this might be it. The Pac-12 might be done with this news coming out, unless they can do something. But even then, if Washington and Oregon get stolen, just those two, it doesn't even have to be Stanford and Cal as well, but if it's just those two, the Pac-12 will not be able to replace that loss. Even if they got Boise State, even if they got San Diego State, even if they got SMU, they wouldn't be able to replace that loss. So the Pac-12, they got to do what they can to survive, because it sounds like the Big Ten is ready for wave 2 of coming in there and taking the schools. And I guarantee you, if the Big Ten takes Oregon and Washington, for sure those two, the Big 12 will definitely come in for Utah and the Arizona schools and Colorado. And like I said, Washington State and Oregon State will be left to drown pretty much, as they may have to end up going to the Mountain West or going independent. It's just crazy to me that the Pac-12 could be on the brink of death right here. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens with conference realignment in the next year. But it's crazy, but good. It will be good for the Big Ten in the long run. They're gonna become the super conference. They're gonna get so much more revenue, so much more attention and viewerships, as they'll have the Los Angeles market. And yeah, it could be very beneficial for the Big Ten. But yeah, we'll see what happens as the conference realignment landscape keeps changing. But yeah, I just figured I'd share some thoughts with that. As you know, the Big Ten just signed with CBS and Fox and NBC, and those are three, probably, I'd say they're probably more valuable than ESPN, to be honest. I know more people who own those 3 channels that watch college football on there, and NFL football even, than on ESPN. I know people own those channels more than they own ESPN. And so them having those 3 channels is significant, very significant. Now, obviously, there's still a good amount of people that own ESPN. Many people own ESPN, but them having those 3 premium channels, basically, that's significant for the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten can rise to becoming the top conference in college football here in the next couple of years, unless, knock on wood or whatever, but unless another conference like SEC makes another big move. But yes, it will be interesting to see what happens. And yeah, I just figured I'd offer some thoughts on that. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great night.